I'm on the titties drop Reddit a lot.
It's okay.
I was like, I don't care. I got no shame.
I'm there for the woodworking.
That's fair.
I've got the count.
I'm there because
it's like 50% cryptids, 50% woodworking.
It's like 50% cryptids, 50% porn.
Bigfoot fucking.
It's mostly monster girls. Like, I'm gonna be like dead honestly.
Okay.
Hi. I don't know if we opened up on it's mostly monster girls, but I'm happy with it.
I can make that happen.
Where my monster fuckers at?
We are. Welcome to Monster Fuckers Anonymous.
Yeah, I will start a Monster Fuckers podcast right now.
Lex has uncomfortable levels of monster fucking energy.
Oh, hell
and interest.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Real big into Ghostface. Is
one
of her
would that count as a monster because he's a serial killer?
I think partially because he's a killer in Dead by Daylight.
He's a killer in Dead by Daylight. You're right.
But yeah, so I think at least in that regard, maybe.
In that regard, yeah, he doesn't have anything supernatural about him. I was thinking like when I think monster fucker, I think about like fucking like a succubus or like fucking like
that thing from The Shape of Water.
That thing from The Shape of Water. Yeah, the Gilman from The Shape of Water, or like anything in Monster Matsume, where my fucking weeb's at. Like the spider lady from Monster Matsume, where my weeb's at. Welcome everybody.
I'm trying to think if there was ever a monster where I was like, yeah, I'd bang that. For me, I don't know if a succubus counts.
They're a type of demon. That's a monster.
It would depend on the type of succubus. Because I'm like, there are some versions of the succubus that are much more monstrous.
Yeah.
Other times, it's just a sexy lady.
A lot of times with, like, horns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah. But, like,
that doesn't quite... Like, for me, like, a monster fucker is I'd bang Cthulhu level. Like, that would be...
That's fair. There is a dating game where you can do that now.
Yeah. I've watched that one.
Yeah, there's a dating game where you can do that now.
That one's really good. I think I watched Markiplier's.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of Markiplier play it. Shout out to Markiplier.
Actually, that was what there's maybe the one monster where I was like,
yeah. I've done that a lot in media. Like, again, the Spider Lady in Monster Matsume. Have you ever seen anything from Monster Matsume?
No.
The Spider Lady is like one like top half, like she's huge. One top half, sexy lady with like 8 eyes. Bottom half, all spider, and she uses her webs for things. And that anime is just a. More so, that anime is just a big monster fucker anime, and then you also have the anime that was specifically made for monster fuckers, which is, I think, Monster Girl MD, and it's just a guy in a fantasy world that is a doctor who sees monster girls.
Okay, I thought the monster girl was going to be a doctor.
No, it would be cool, but no, he's a normal human dude that just like gets isekai'd or transported into a world where he is also a doctor, like a fantasy world doctor, and he sees monster girls.
Anime's fucking wild.
Yeah,
dude.
Don't go into the rabbit hole.
Also, this entire, like, right before this conversation, we were having a conversation about possibly looking into recording at a local access channel,
yes.
And we were both like, we can censor ourselves. I'm a little less certain about that.
I'm also a little less certain about it because I just went on a tirade about how much I love monsters.
Do they have local access nights?
Nights.
Local access, but red band.
Like, I feel like if you put a show later in the evening, it's the common expectation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know late night shows don't do it, but like, I feel like if it's public access and it's later at night, I feel like if you put it on at like 1 a.m, that's when they used to show horror movies.
Yeah.
And barely censor them. So like, I don't know. I feel like if you put it on late at night, no one's going to fucking watch it. Well, maybe people will watch it. I'd watch my own show.
Dear Elvira, how often can we say fuck on local access?
Also, Elvira, I love you so much.
Yeah. Or the guys from Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Yeah.
Hit us up.
Joe Bob Briggs.
Yeah.
Joe Bob, love you. Hit me up. You got me through my 5-day quarantine.
Oh yeah, so
Joe Bob Briggs.
A lot has happened.
Yeah, a lot's happened since we last joined. So we say welcome, finally. Should we say welcome?
We've said it a couple of times.
We have said it a couple of times. So what show is this?
This is Our Haunted Backyard.
Yay.
The show where we talk about country road cryptids, small town spooky, and other local legends.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
I got that kind of memorized now.
That's awesome, because it's a great tagline.
This is also probably the first show that we are going to record very soon before it comes out.
Yeah, we've had a couple episodes in the backlog, but this we were starting to run a little thin because life.
Yeah.
Life.
One of the things being my dude got the corona.
I got the Rona. I was in Rona jail for about 5 days. Mm-hmm. Luckily, I had a very, very mild case.
Yes.
If I didn't take a test because I'm nervous and I'm a hypochondriac sometimes. Not sometimes, most of the time. Yeah, if I didn't take the test and come up positive twice, I took it at home quick test twice, I would have bet all the money I had that I had a cold. That's how it felt. I did not get the fatigue that they talk about. I didn't want to sleep all the time. I didn't get the fatigue. I just went to sleep in normal hours. I got a nap, my throat felt like shit. I got a little bit of a cough, not too much. Mm-hmm. But it was mostly my throat and just very congestion. I didn't really get.
But we also live in Ohio. So...
Yeah. But the tests both times came up positive. Mm-hmm. And I was shipped to I live with my partner, Elle, and my fiance, Mars. And because they both are kind of immunocompromised, I just was shipped basically to my parents, who live about 10 minutes down the road from our townhouse. And I was there and I was literally in my brother's old room, my younger brother's old room, for 5 days, watching nothing but horror movies.
Honestly, that sounds like not a bad life.
It wasn't bad. Besides the sickness and the fact that I literally couldn't see anybody, watching horror movies was for 5 days was pretty cool.
Though for me, that right now, that would probably be getting deep into some weird or indie wrestling promotion, either DDT wrestling in Japan.
Oh yeah,
which has the weird stuff.
Yeah,
They've got the one with the giant panda wrestler and the blow up doll wrestler.
I gotta look into this.
Oh, there's one. Kenny Omega fights the blow up doll.
Really, Kenny Omega?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's the same promotion where Kenny Omega fought a 9-year-old girl.
Oh.
And they fight to a draw.
Really?
Yeah.
Dope.
She does a really good job.
Dope.
But I didn't have the Rona, but I went up to Michigan for wedding and things like that. Mm-hmm. And I did have some paranoia coming back, because there was a couple of days where I was a little congested and tired, but I'm always tired because capitalism.
Ain't that the fucking truth?
So I got instantly nervous, oh no, I've got it. Tested negative. So I was oh, it's just coming back to Ohio, because we live in a valley where it's just allergies all the time.
Yeah, luckily I was vaccinated. I got vaccinated last year. The minute that my age group was able to get vaccinated, the week later I was I got vaccinated.
Same.
And then before I went to OhioCon in January, I knew I was going to a big event with a lot of people. Luckily, OhioCon made it a thing to where if you don't show proof of vaccination and or a negative COVID test, we will not give you a badge. But I had my vaccination by then. But I said, well, I'm going to a big old group event. Whether or not they're screening that way, for the safety of my partners, I should also be as vaccinated as I can be. So I got the booster 3 weeks before I went to OhioCon. So I'm vaccinated and boosted. And luckily, according to a friend of mine who works with the Indiana health to monitor COVID, the fact that I was boosted and the fact that I was vaccinated, he said it limits your virus shedding, which basically is how you it limits the amount you can pass it on. Mm-hmm. So because I showed symptoms, I got back from Colossal Con and I was showing symptoms that Monday, but I didn't test until that Wednesday and didn't test positive until that Wednesday. The 3 days that I was around both of my partners, neither of them got it.
That's really good.
Yeah, neither of them got it.
So, Our Haunted Backyard, pro-vaccine, pro-Bigfoot banging.
Pro-vaccine, pro-Bigfoot banging.
If Bigfoot consents.
If Bigfoot consents.
Yeah.
If he wants to bang you.
So, I was up in Michigan.
Yeah.
And I actually passed through Dogman territory.
Oh, very nice.
I stayed on a farm for a few nights, asked the owners of the farm if they'd seen anything weird. They didn't tell any stories, but they did talk about Dogman.
Oh, cool.
Which kind of ended up inspiring today's episode, because I, unbeknownst to me at first, passed through 2 Dogman territories. So usually when we talk about Dogman, it's either Beast of Bray Road in Wisconsin.
Yeah. I love that Beast of Bray Road.
Or Dogman of Michigan, which is mostly on the western part of the Mitten. I can't remember the exact counties, but we were right in that. We were at Dogman Alley.
I'm more familiar with the Beast of Bray Road than I am the Michigan Dogman. Getting into like this world, like diving deeper into this cryptozoological supernatural world that we're doing with this podcast, that we've always, both of us have had this interest in. I'm only now hearing of Dogmen, like the Dogmen phenomenon.
That's kind of where I think it gets most interesting, because I've got one main story and then a bunch of tiny stories, because I opened up this world of the Dogmen and how basically Ohio has a werewolf problem.
That's what you told me before we started recording.
We've got so much werewolf action up here.
Oh, that's so dope, because I love werewolves more than I like vampires.
So,
no offense to vampires.
Werewolves are more interesting. If I was going to pick one, I'd be vampire, because then you get to be young and sexy forever.
Well, werewolves you don't necessarily age.
Depends on the werewolf.
Depends on the werewolf lore, but like, I don't know. I would always go with werewolf, because like, you're not a werewolf all the time. Like, you don't have to be a werewolf all the time. Basically, you can schedule. You have a schedule for like, no, I'm going to be a werewolf this Friday.
Sorry, boss, I can't come in today.
I can't come
I'm gonna come down with werewolf.
I've got werewolf.
I've got a touch of the lycanthropy.
I got my lycanthropy. I can't come into work on Friday.
So there is probably one of the first big Ohio Dogman stories. I actually passed through that town on my way up to Michigan. The Defiance Dogman, or the Werewolf of Defiance. So Defiance, Ohio is located northeast-ish. It's about 55 miles southwest of Toledo.
Okay, I probably have driven through there.
Oh yeah, it's right through there. If you're going up to Michigan or Toledo or anywhere like that, you're going to drive through it. It was originally Fort Defiance, where I saw kind of, as we were driving through, they're actually just about to have their Fort Defiance Jubilee or something like that. And we were driving through the town, and I saw the fort.
When I think of the word fort, the next word I think of is not Jubilee.
Yeah.
It's
a weird one. Especially, so Fort Defiance was built by General Mad Anthony Wayne in 1774. He was big deal in Ohio.
Was Mad his nickname?
Yeah, they called him Mad Anthony Wayne because he was a bit of a wild card.
Cool, okay.
He was a general for a lot of the colonization wars that were happening in Ohio, as far as fighting the indigenous population, which is what Fort Defiance was built for. Also really big in the Revolutionary War. And because the theme of this show, the sub-theme of this show is Ian's going to red pill Eric into believing in the wildest shit.
Yay.
Anthony Wayne was a member of the Society of the Cincinnati.
What?
The Society of the Cincinnati is still around.
Oh, I don't like that.
Is a hereditary fraternal military order.
I hate that.
And it's basically, it was started by a bunch of dudes who were in the Revolutionary War, included Wayne, included George Washington, Arthur St. Clair, and the membership in the order passes down through the descendants, so it's still around today. It was heavily criticized by a variety of people. Thomas Jefferson, I think, was one of them, for trying to create basically a new aristocracy for America. Kind of like in Britain we had the peerage, there's the hereditary titles. There are a lot of people who are like, this Society of the Cincinnati is trying to do the same thing. They're trying to basically establish new hereditary aristocracy here in America. Still around.
I don't like that at all.
They also got real big into city planning, including Cincinnati, Ohio.
Makes sense, because it's Cincinnati. That was my next question. Did they name themselves after the city, or was the city named after them, or do you know, or did you come across that?
They named themselves after an ancient Roman general, Cincinnatus.
Okay.
Who, if I'm remembering correctly, was one of the guys who supposedly because a lot of the early Roman legionaries, they were farmers. This guy was farmer, also general, and I believe he was asked to be emperor, because the way Rome worked when it was republic was, if in times of crisis, they would basically elect a tyrant who was going to be in charge, like have absolute power and then was expected to relinquish power once the crisis was over. And I can't remember the entirety of the story, but Cincinnatus supposedly actually did that. George Washington was a big fan of Cincinnatus. And kind of viewed himself in a similar way. He's like, I became president. I did not want to, but now, fuck you all, I'm going to become a farmer again. But Arthur St. Clair, who I mentioned earlier, founded the city of Cincinnati and named it after the society in hopes that it would encourage more members to come settle there. And I don't know much yet, because it's a weird rabbit hole for me to go down to, but there is some weird stuff about the Society of the Cincinnati and the Cincinnati city.
I already hate this.
It
like
is,
I'm interested. Me saying I hate it isn't the fact that this isn't.
It's
so
creepy.
Fucking interesting, but it's creepy.
It's kind of creepy.
And not in like the cool way. It just makes me like, I'm like, this is not. I didn't know this, and I hate that I know this now.
Yeah. I've heard weird stuff about Cincinnati in general.
This is the first I'm hearing of it,
but,
I swear.
Like, combining this, like the Society of the Cincinnati, with, like, learning that there's been, like, a long history of weird occult stuff in Cincinnati. We had somebody point us out. We want to do more research on this and maybe get them on to the show, but we had somebody point us in the direction of the Cincinnati Journal of Ceremonial Magic.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
And the fact that there was a Cincinnati Wizard War.
Yeah, you also mentioned that too.
Which
I read that email. Yeah.
I want to call it a magician war, because that is what ceremonial magicians will call themselves, magicians a lot of the time.
Okay.
But you say magician war, it sounds like guys are like pulling like Tommy guns out of their hats and just like,
yeah, they're throwing I picture like throwing like cards Gambit style, and then like them opening, like flipping over their top hats, and like birds and rabbits
just like come out and attack
them. Like it's like Zatanna Zatara like fighting. Like that's what I picture.
Or like Job from Arrested Development. It's just them getting into a
Will
street
Forte's
fight.
character.
So that's a little bit of weirdness.
God, man, yeah.
We've got this through line from Defiance into this weird order society of the Cincinnati down into Cincinnati itself. Which there's also, once again, I've not gotten to do a lot of research on it. Defiance itself, there's this Dogman story, but then there is kind of like with things like Mothman or even the Minerva monster, which we talked about, where there is a lot more going on in the area, and it kind of seems to be a hub of hauntings, UFO sightings, just a lot of weirdness.
Right, during like what I've getting into this, again, getting heavily into this world, you come across terms, and during what people call flaps, like what this in this research is called flaps of activity. And that, we like we mentioned it with the Minerva monster, like the flap of sightings happened this decade, this time. So like with the Mothman and with like these Dogmans, you do have this weird flap of like odd activity, not only surrounding the main focus, like the Mothman, like
for those of you who've not gotten too deep into Mothman lore, Mothman is actually a really small part of the Mothman phenomena. There gets to be a lot more weird stuff with the Men in Black, with UFOs, with Indrid Cold, and it ripples out from Point Pleasant into southeastern Ohio, and there's a lot of weird Men in Black encounters in Ohio, that part of Ohio, that get tied to the Mothman phenomena because they were happening at the exact same time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In a relatively similar geographic location.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Defiance, Ohio. We are going to focus on about a week's worth of time in late July, early August of 1972. So the first reported sighting of this dogman was by Ted Davis and Tom Jones, employees at the Norfolk and Western Freight Company. So they worked rail cars. And they were, one night, on July 25th, they were inspecting the braking system on some of the rail cars. And Ted Davis reports seeing 2 hairy feet. Looks up, and then sees a large being with a stick slung over its shoulder.
Mm.
And then later he says that it runs off. But this part was kind of weird to me because I literally can't picture it because I have aphantasia. I couldn't even understand what he was saying.
Yeah, okay, I can
but
try.
He was saying it was running side to side like a caveman in a movie.
Oh, I can picture it. I know what he's talking about.
Yeah, I don't know if...
So he had two furry feet, stick over its shoulder.
Is it kind of like this, clump thing, for lack of a term?
Yeah, I can kind of picture it. Yeah, I can kind of picture it, going, not like a crab walking, but
that's literally the first thing I thought was did it just crab walk out of there, just I'm a werewolf.
Yeah, no, I can kind of this thing zigzag walking out of the scene.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of picturing.
That's what I was wondering, but I'm I wouldn't call that side to side. It's just mostly kind of this weird little gallop run. Though I like the fact that it had a branch. This is a well-armed werewolf?
Yeah. Also, because I find it weird that 2 out of the 2 cryptids that we've talked about, cryptids we talked about in Ohio, are carrying some sort of stick with them. Mm-hmm. Started with the frogmen carrying around a wand or a stick, and now the Defiance Dogman's, one of them's got a stick.
These initial reports don't go into a lot of detail, but later on you do learn, even Ted Davis said, yeah, this thing had a snout, it had fangs. Tom Jones, the other man working on there, at first thought it was a joke, but then saw the creature. They saw the creature again the next week. Same place. And then when Tom saw it, he's like, oh yeah, this is not a joke. I don't know what it is, but it's not just some kind of weird prank.
Wow.
The same evening of the second sighting. So Ted and Tom see the creature at the edge of the woods near the rail cars they were working on. It looks at them and then just kind of crab walks away. That same evening, a grocer not too far from the rail cars reported being attacked by an animal-headed creature wielding a 2x4.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Which is just werewolf just shows up and hits you over the head with some construction lumber.
He's Hacksaw Jim Duggan, You're a werewolf. Why do you need a 2x4?
I know. At least I'm happy he has a 2x4. He could be using those claws.
But why do you need a weapon? You are a weapon. You're a werewolf. Again, I've never seen a real werewolf, so I don't know if they're the stuff in the werewolves in Ginger Snaps, or if they're the big, strong, sexy werewolves like you see in Van Helsing.
So
I don't know.
I don't know if this will give you a better idea. However, a lot of the reports of this werewolf, it's wearing blue jeans.
No shit.
It just sounds like a cool guy.
He just sounds like the Wolfman from the 1930s.
Except for beating up grocers with 2x4s.
Beating up grocers with 2x4.
But I was like, if we're gonna talk wrestlers, I'm like, it's John Moxley with a wolf head. That's what I'm picturing right now.
it's the buffalo. You remember the buffalo wrestler?
Oh, no.
The guy who just wore a buffalo on his head.
Oh, no, the Manotaur. Was that the Manotaur?
The Manotaur. That's what his name was. This was
the Manotaur getting an early start. So a lot of my sources come from a couple different sources, but they all draw from the Toledo Blade, which was one of the newspapers that ran a series of articles. There was the Toledo Blade and the local paper, which is the Chronicle Journal or something like that.
Toledo Blade's a kick-ass paper name.
Right?
That's
Blade!
Toledo Blade!
Toledo! The journalist who's writing for the Toledo Blade interviewed Police Chief Donald Breckler. Breckler told James Siegel was the journalist, James Siegel. He told them that they actually had received within the kind of that about weeks worth of time 3 different reports, excluding the grocer and the railwayman.
Okay, yeah, excluding those 2.
And he didn't want to give the names out. As far as I know, he didn't give the name out. Mm-hmm. But that they were very consistent descriptions. However, those descriptions were kind of vague. The first basic description was very hairy. So,
yeah, for a dog person.
So there was very hairy, wears dark clothing. So we've got a goth werewolf.
Oh, God, dope. I'm on board.
Which, early 70s, goth isn't quite a thing yet, but we're getting there.
Goth isn't quite a thing.
This is like Alice Cooper werewolf, maybe.
Yeah, Alice Cooper.
No, that would be glam rock werewolf, which would be awesome.
Which would be, oh my God.
Imagine like hair metal werewolf.
That sounds like a dope comic book.
That is your gender identity.
That is my gender identity. Glam rock werewolf. I identify as a glam rock werewolf. Oh man, dude.
Just imagine like very standard like Van Helsing style werewolf.
Yeah.
So still on hind legs, but like has the band.
Yes.
Like the hairband with the mullet coming out.
Yes. Like, and he's got makeup on and cool sunglasses.
Just like mascara, so it's got eyelashes for days.
Yeah,
paints his claws.
He uses a pick, but like his fucking guitar's all scratched up because he's got claws, and he's in a band with Dracula, with a vampire, who's like the lead singer because vampires are sexy.
And plays guitar.
Vampire plays guitar. No, because vampire plays guitar. Frankenstein-ish monster, Frankenstein's monster, on the drums, because he likes to beat things, and he's in the back, so he doesn't have to deal with the fire. Mm-hmm. And then you have, I'm just putting together the band from the Beetlejuice stage show from Universal Studios.
Humanity is destined to reinvent Beetlejuice over and over and
I missed that show. That show was so cool. I saw that like when I was like 14, when I went to Universal Studios, and it was just like, it was Beetlejuice, Frankenstein's monster, Dracula, Bride of Frankenstein, and Wolfman singing 80s pop hits, and it was so great.
That sound like...
It was so great.
I'm not even that big into the 80s or Beatles or something like that. That sounds like a good time, though.
It was so cool. And the guy playing, who was Beetlejuice, is actually pretty fucking... He was a good job. He did a good job.
It was probably just Michael Keaton.
Dude, probably was.
So, okay, we've got the glam rock werewolf.
Yeah.
It was described as ranging from 7 to 9 feet tall, though Breckler thinks that was probably exaggerated, which I was like, who the fuck are you?
I don't...
okay, you're the chief of police, but still, you don't know they're exaggerating?
Yeah, you don't know that's exaggeration.
It was always seen in kind of the same rough geographic area, like a very small, actually fairly populated part of town. And Breckler believed that it was probably a local person wearing a mask, but that there was a lot of natural hair too.
So he's basically picturing like a guy wearing a wolf mask, but like who's also just a hairy individual in general.
Yeah, we're going back to the Minerva monster situation where you've got Robin Williams running around in a werewolf mask.
Yeah,
no shirt.
Yeah, I mean, I still don't. I've seen hairy people. Like, I have seen body hair. I've seen a lot of body hair, but I don't think even in the dark I would be like, oh, that guy's got some hair. But, like, I don't think I would blend it with a mask and be like, that's a werewolf. Like, maybe, I don't think so.
Yeah, maybe if I could understand, like, I am very terrified right now because there's something attacking me with a 2x4.
That's scary.
So I'm just going to, like, I could see that, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, I... Kind of like what we were talking about in the Minerva Monster episode, where... You need to be able to trust people a little bit, where they know what they're seeing.
Right. I feel like we don't do that enough. We talked about it a little bit in the Minerva Monster video, but like I don't think we give people enough credit.
Yeah.
Because like, oh, they were just terrified, they were in shock. It's like they have eyeballs, man.
Especially the 7 to 9 feet tall is the one that gets me. The hairy, I'm like, okay, I can kind of get that. It's dark. You're scared.
Yeah.
Maybe you're seeing more hair than there actually is, but I don't think I could imagine somebody being that tall.
Right, exactly. I don't think that's too big of an exaggeration to think, honestly.
And this is another part of why it's interesting, is because so Breckler believes it might have been a local person, but he doesn't understand what the local person's trying to do. Which I guess, maybe you could have like a dick teenager or something like that.
Exactly.
Like, I'm going to go and assault people with a 2x4.
Well, we had those clown cases like back in like 2019.
Yeah.
But like even then, we knew that those were just it was one dude who was like being an asshole, and then the rest of the country started being assholes.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, to this day, I think it was a marketing scheme.
I wouldn't be surprised. And then they were like, "Oh no, we can't talk about this anymore."
Yeah, I swear to God.
Too much.
I swear it was probably an marketing scheme somehow that got out of hand.
So Breckler's talking about trying to figure out the motivation. He says, if the motivation is robbery, and this is a quote from one of the news articles, if his motivation is robbery, then he is not picking the type of person that would have a lot of money. Yeah, valid.
Valid. Very valid.
It's scared easily. So even if you're in a situation where it is just somebody who wants to assault people for the fun of it, it's getting scared off easily. I would think that it's somebody who's bordering on that kind of, not like serial killer, but just serial assaulter.
Yeah. You wouldn't think they'd be as skittish, because if your goal is to frighten a person, like is to scare the person, you're going to like kind of relish in that way. You're scaring this person. You're not going to run off and also be scared or skittish.
Yeah.
Because like when you're a haunt actor, you're not going to run off. You're there to scare people.
Yeah.
If your purpose was to scare people and not like, oh shit, I'm discovered like an animal, you wouldn't immediately run off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This last bullet point for trying to figure out motivation, I know what he means, and what he means isn't great, but the implication, or like the other way to think about it, is very amusing to me, which is he hasn't approached any women. Which I know what he means here.
I know what he means.
But at the same time, I'm just imagining like some guy is like, I really need a girlfriend. Do you know I'm werewolf mask and a 2x4. Hey, baby.
I can tell you're going to the wrong places for it. You might be able to meet a significant other like that.
You like my wood? I'm a beast in the bed. Let me tell you. And this is just human
on the streets, werewolf in the sheets.
This is just some guy didn't understand the art of picking up a girl. He's like,
oh god,
I'm just gonna werewolf it up.
You're just, dude, in the right space. You're the hottest guy. You're the hottest person in the room.
I could point you to the correct clubs.
I can point you to the correct clubs. I can point you to the correct conventions.
Yeah.
But just out in BFE.
Not the place to do it.
Not the place to do it.
Just casually walking down the street. Casual werewolf with his 2x4.
Casual werewolf with his 2x4. Hey.
And because it's the 1970s, everybody's got kind of that like New York accent.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm walking here. I'm a werewolf. Hey, baby.
Werewolf.
Fonzie werewolf.
That'd be dope, though.
I would watch that version of Happy Days.
I would watch a monster version of Happy
Where
Days.
everything's the same except for the Fonz is a werewolf.
Yeah. The Rob Zombie's doing a Monsters movie.
I'm not surprised by that. That is basically what we're thinking about now.
Yeah.
It is Rob Zombie's Monsters is Werewolf Happy Days.
Yeah. It honestly looks great. I saw the trailer for it. It looks good.
Watch the trailer for that
it looks good.
Once again, this was located in a very kind of tight geographic region. Caused a lot of fright in the neighborhood, especially because there was a lot of small children.
I would imagine so.
There are some people who are convinced it's a werewolf. Some people think it's probably just some punk trying to scare people. A lot of parents saying you can't go out at night. A lot of parents also just been like, go play at night, and if it comes around, run home.
Don't talk to strangers. Don't talk to dogmen.
But then there is Rupert Fig, elderly gentleman in the neighborhood, who said, if I see him, the police are going to find out who he is because they'll have to take him to the hospital to get the buckshot out. No fear of a werewolf.
No fear. Don't you know that it's gotta be silver? My dude, this is the 70s. The Wolfman has been out for a while.
Yeah. We're peak Hammer horror. We
know
what you gotta do. It's gotta be some silver buckshot.
Yeah, it's gotta be silver buckshot.
Which honestly, I would write that Werewolf Hunter. Like Rupert Fig Werewolf Hunter. I will write that book.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Like some just dude from Ohio.
I had a great a movie, at least a story or a movie idea, where I dream casted Bruce Campbell as a Van Helsing monster hunter whose brother was a werewolf, and he didn't kill werewolves as his only rule because one of them could be his brother.
So we could keep writing this, but also just have him be from Ohio.
I would, yes.
And he like exclusively is hunting monsters in Ohio.
Yeah. Mr. Campbell.
Mr. Campbell be in our movie.
May I call you, if I may call you Bruce? I love you. I love everyone.
We'll get Sam. Imagine Sam Raimi directing this movie, and it ties into the Society of Cincinnati.
Oh,
and
my
Bruce Campbell has to like take on Cincinnati the city.
Fucking A, man.
Ends up teaming up with Werewolf Brother.
Yes.
Who will just say we can cast John Moxley?
Yeah. I'm down.
We'll get who's from Cincinnati.
Who's from Cincinnati?
John Moxley's from Cincinnati.
Oh my God, Bruce, Sam, call us, please.
We can do it. That's kind of the basic overall story. Things eventually started quieting down. They never found out who this was, what it was, though. And I don't know if the Toledo Blade put this snippet, if it was part of the main article, or if it was next to it on purpose. But I did notice that the August 3rd edition of the Toledo Blade, right next to the reporting on the Defiance werewolf, has reports of a large ape-like creature being spotted in Tiffin, Ohio, which is 80 miles east.
Of Defiance?
Of Defiance, yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
So once again, kind of getting this, like, that's 80 miles is a pretty big difference.
It's a pretty significant distance.
But still, I would say that's kind of in the it's being reported by the same newspaper, so
yes.
It's the rough geographical region. You start getting these other things happening in the same area.
Almost as if High Strange this morning, the veil got thin for like a little bit and things started coming through.
Yeah. Or there's some kind of weird electricity thing going on that we don't. And I think, don't quote me on this one specifically, but I think I also saw reports of like more large cat sightings.
Mm-hmm.
Like happening kind of same time, same area. So once again, I didn't look up UFOs, but I bet you if I looked up UFO sightings in that region that time,
I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's an uptake.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there were uptake in UFO sightings at all.
So listeners, I think this is Ian winning as far as getting Eric to believe in the weird stuff goes.
But it wasn't that hard. It wasn't going to be a difficult task.
I think the minute I started getting into the Society of the Cincinnati, you're going to be like, yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I was. This isn't video yet, but like you should have seen.
You're like leaning in.
I was leaning in. My eyes were wide, and I'm just like, no.
And I could see both.
Way.
I could see like both the excitement and the anger.
Yeah.
Like, you're like,
I was so. Yeah.
Like you're like I'm ready for it to live in this world. I'm angry that this society exists.
Yeah. I'm so ready to find out about the secret society, but there's a fucking secret society.
There's these hereditary motherfuckers.
There's a
secret societies, that weird stuff. It's all out there. It's not. I'm not talking like QAnon kind of stuff, but
no, this isn't. No,
but it's there. Like you just have to start looking into it, and you're like, oh yeah, this is creepy.
Oh yep, don't like that.
So that's the story of the Defiance Dogman. One of the other main sources outside of Toledo Blade that I got caught hold of was the North American Dogman Project.
Oh, cool. That sounds awesome.
And they collect a lot of information on Dogman sightings in kind of North America, but specifically kind of this region. So once again, I was talking about when you think Dogman, you usually think Wisconsin first.
You do.
And then Michigan is the one that I usually hear about, because you hear Michigan Dogman. As of 2022, according to their website, there are over 140 reports of the Dogman in the United States.
140?
Yeah. Which I didn't know if they meant this year or just kind of like
collective.
Since they've been tracking this, which I think some of the oldest Dogman sightings go back into like the 1800s. They do say mention that the reports go back to 1887. Wow. So I think that means since 1887 there have been over 140 reported sightings of Dogmen.
Reported. Now that's just reported.
That's just reported. 34% of the sightings in the United States come from 3 states. Top being Wisconsin with 21 sightings.
Makes sense.
Ohio with 20.
Wow, I did not expect that.
Yeah.
I did not expect that.
And then Michigan with 9.
And that was the second state that you mentioned that.
Yeah,
when you say Dogman, you think Michigan and Wisconsin.
Yeah, I don't think Ohio. I think Wisconsin and then Michigan, because I've heard of the Michigan Dogman.
Yeah, I have also heard of the Michigan Dogman.
I think the Michigan Dogman I'd have to do some research. That might be a more involved story than like Defiance. But then I was just looking. They have on the the website, so that once again, that's NorthAmericanDogmanProject.com. You can look up evidence, you can look up reports, and they have like a map, a like Google map where they have like little points where you can submit your own reports. And I pulled a lot from like 10 minutes from here.
What?
I won't read through these, but there were some where there's Brookville, which isn't that far from here.
No, it's not.
And within just the last couple of years, like within like the last 5 years. Germantown, which is just a little bit south.
Oh my god.
Oh, and then for we'll post these with the episode.
Yeah.
But to kind of give you like an indication, I have a map. I took a screenshot of the map.
He's showing me the map, and then this is
the map of just North America.
All the cluster over where like Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, and Tennessee are is just mass. It's just like a bunch of bullet points.
I pull in Ohio, and it's just kind of all across the state.
It is. What weirds me out is this line going through Columbus right here.
So this is down here. This is Mothman territory.
Where is that?
That's the Wayne National Forest. That's kind of in the Athens.
Oh.
And so, you get this like, I wonder if it's like just one dude, just walking up from like,
out.
I'm hitchhiking to Columbus, and then go over to Cleveland and Akron.
Yeah, wow.
And in addition to the reports, they also have recordings.
Oh, I love that.
So I will have to do some cutting, but I will play so that I can put the actual recordings into the episode, because the audio won't be great.
From like listening to the microphone, yeah.
Yeah, but we can listen to some Wolfmans.
Oh man, I'm
also, these are the 3 recordings.
Dogman. Okay, so he's showing me the list of recordings from the National American Dogman Project.com. He's showing me the list of recordings, and they're named. Top one is Dogman Bellbrook,
which is we drove through here.
We drove through Bellbrook to get here. Dogman Cincinnati, which is like 20 minutes away from us. Mm-hmm. And then Dogman Dayton,
which is here.
Which is where we are right now.
Yeah. So this one's probably my favorite.
Okay.
So this is Dogman Bellbrook.
So there's some things we want to do. We want to straighten things out historically. Did you just hear that? What the fuck? What was that?
Whoa.
I would have to look further into the website to figure out what the story of that recording is. Yeah. But they were recording something else. Like, it sounds like they were
about to do something else.
Yeah, they were having a conversation or something.
Yeah.
And then it was interrupted
by a howl, by a legitimate howl.
Yeah, which could be a dog.
We don't have any coyotes in Ohio.
We're getting them back.
We're getting coyotes back in Ohio. Okay.
That doesn't sound like a coyote.
That doesn't sound like a coyote.
It could be something like a husky, maybe.
Maybe.
There are definitely dogs that could be.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
Like that's why I want to see the story around it.
Yeah. Okay, this one's the Cincinnati one.
Yeah, this is Dogman Cincinnati.
That one gave me legitimate chills.
That one, actually, that kind of sounds closer to a coyote to me.
Yeah.
Also kind of sounds like a pissed off chihuahua.
I mean, I'm not a dog expert. Mm-hmm. Like, I could not identify a breed by just hearing a bark or a howl or whatever. But, like,
it's creepy.
That's creepy. Like, whether that's like a dogman evidence or not, that's creepy.
I would not want to hear that walking around downtown Cincinnati.
I don't want to hear that when I'm in my room. When I'm in a safe room. This is Dogman Dayton.
This is Dogman Dayton.
Okay, last one, Dogman Dayton. the thing about these is like that they're on this website to report dogmen stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The people who are recording these, whether they were either recording like in the first clip in the Bellbrook one, they sounded like they were in the middle of doing something else, and then they heard this, and then these last two were just like straight up howls, no other like persons in there.
Mm-hmm.
But like I feel like this is another one of those instances where give people more credit than you should, like giving people credit like more credit than you would normally, because I feel like if you heard this and you knew there were people who owned dogs in your area,
mm-hmm.
you would be like, that's just the neighbor's dog. But the fact that whoever recorded this felt that it was necessary enough and weird enough and out of the ordinary enough for them to record
mm-hmm. is
compelling to me.
And
yeah.
Well, that's why I said I want to dig into the website a little more and see what the story around each recording is.
Yeah.
Because I could also understand, especially in Ohio, where coyotes coming back is still a relatively new thing.
It is, yeah.
And if you've never heard a coyote before, when I was up in Michigan, the owners of the farm say, "Oh yeah, we have coyotes around here. If you like, they can sound scary, but we've got guard dogs and the fence. There's a lot of fencing in the area, so they're not going to come and get you, but they can sound real scary." And I've also camped out in the middle of the desert in Arizona, and it sometimes sounded like they were like right underneath our camper.
Oh, that's creepy. Yeah.
And so like especially that second one.
That second one gave me chills. Like,
where I could be like, I can understand if you've never heard a coyote before, that could freak you out and be like, what's going on here? So,
yeah. Honestly, yes.
But that's why I want to see what the rest of, like, if there's anything more to them, or if it was just somebody sending the recordings.
Yeah.
But on that same page, there's also photos.
Oh.
Which I won't post any of these because I don't know what the rights
with them
are. Are. There's also trigger warning, some kind of graphic pictures where animals have been attacked.
Oh.
Cattle mutilation.
Shit, man.
So if you go onto that website to look at these pictures, just know that there's some images in there that you might not want to see.
Mm-hmm.
But some of them are just just goofy.
I'm gonna see that one. The first one, it's a black shadow with like heightened, like what I could describe as perked up ears, like you would do for a Great Dane or a boxer. And you were like saying, you were like a little giggling about it. That unsettles me.
Let me find the one that is...
I'm gonna just like that is an unsettling picture.
The one that made me legitimately laugh when I first saw it.
It was just very unsettling because I'm looking at that. I'm like, I'm putting myself in that moment of when that was taken. I'm like, if I saw that, I would have no more pants. Like, shit is dribbling down my leg. I would think I was about to die.
Yeah, here's some more out in the forest. Still kind of creepy.
That's a little creepy, but that one's a little bit more like, hello.
Yeah.
Like,
and then,
like a dog. It looks like a dog.
And then there's these ones, which are probably my favorite, where it's like crossing the street. And you're like, that's straight up like, I think that's from Skyrim.
That just looks like a troll. Oh, whoa, hold up. That one right there.
I was like that. I think I've played that video game before.
I know, but like when I'm looking at it, it looks a little too weird and real. I don't know. My brain is having a completely different reaction to them, to where it's like that is unsettling.
There are some that I look at them and I'm like, okay, that one is kind of weird. This handful that we're looking at right now, I'm like, that's just goofy.
I don't know. I can see where it can be goofy, but my brain is also just like, that's weird. I don't like that.
Yeah, there's also a lot of footprint pictures where some of them I'm like, that looks like somebody idea of what a werewolf claw would look like.
Yeah.
Other ones do look like wolf
man
like
looking.
or like dog feet.
Yeah.
Like dog footprints.
Yeah.
But huge.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, there's apparently a lot of
Oh, man.
Ohio dogman lore to delve into. There's some that I didn't get too deep into because I was focusing on Defiance.
Yeah.
But Germantown apparently has a really big flap.
Of werewolf sightings.
Like werewolf flap, yeah.
Oh, man. That just... Look, man. I don't want to get bitten by a werewolf, but like we talked about it at the top of the show, like I don't know if we probably didn't keep it. If we talked about it at the top of the show, if we would rather be a werewolf or a vampire. Part of me says werewolf, but like I feel like getting caught and turned into a vampire is easier than getting turned into a werewolf,
and probably more fun.
Probably more fun if it's anything like Vampire the Masquerade.
Yeah,
if it's anything like that.
A werewolf sounds like a bad time.
Yeah, a werewolf attack. With a vampire attack, yeah, you can, if you want to go with, like, you're just a straight-up victim and your blood is just drained completely, you're dead. Or they're going to choose you to be a vampire, you could ask to be one. But, like, with a werewolf, from what I've seen in just, like, lore and media, you are lucky to survive a werewolf attack.
Yeah, the werewolves are generally like they're monsters, they're beasts.
They're beasts, they're feral, they're monsters.
Yeah, so you're just getting straight up attacked by a big wolf.
Yeah.
Where with a vampire, it's like, would you like some sexy nibbles?
It was like some throat nibble, and then, oh no, you're dying. Here's my blood.
How would you like to do a reciprocal nibble?
Yeah, here's my blood now. Haha, you're a vampire. I loved the way. Have you ever seen the movie of What We Do in the Shadows?
Yeah.
And remember how the one guy is describing how he got turned into one, and he's like, now you are a vampire, and it was Peter, and we're still friends today.
That's a great movie.
It's such a great movie. The show's also great. The show's also fantastic. Come back for a fourth season. I'm excited.
Yeah. Anyways, that is just kind of the briefest overview of like the big werewolf in Ohio, as well as just kind of the fact that there's a bunch of we've got a werewolf problem, folks.
And I was completely unaware of this until today.
I'm gonna
do more research.
I'm gonna get myself some silver knuckle busters.
Also get some iron because that helps ward off other creatures. Yeah, it helps ward off fae and demons.
You need a complete kit. I'm gonna have one hanging up here in the office.
I was this close when I was in college to buying a vampire kit from a thrift store. I'm talking this thing was in a ornate suitcase looking thing, and it had everything.
Yeah, those are real popular on Etsy now, right?
Yeah, but this was before Etsy. Yeah, and but the only thing that kept me from not buying it, I was afraid it would be haunted. I was a little afraid that something was attached to it.
That's a reasonable fear to have.
And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go with my gut instinct on that. I was like, it'd be cool to have, but I'm afraid something's attached to that.
So now, the one question I'm left with is if there is a tradition of Ohio vampires, or if Ohio is just too much of a werewolf state that the vampires stay in Pennsylvania.
Or you think so? Because there's that whole underworld thing, vampires versus
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Which we've already come up with one movie with Bruce Campbell and the Society of Cincinnati. Yeah. But I'm also thinking about Underworld, but make it about the Midwest, where it's just watch it. Ohio is all werewolves and Pennsylvania is all, or Indiana or somewhere like that is just vampires.
Yeah, I'd watch it. You'd have to pick a very populated city because other than the populated cities in Ohio and Indiana, it's all farmlands,
which would make it even imagine Pennsylvania Dutch vampires, Amish vampire.
It sounds like a better version of Twilight. I'm gonna just say that right now. It just sounds like a better version of Twilight.
We could make it.
Yeah.
Kickstart us.
We'll make the Bruce Campbell Monster Hunter movie with the Society of Cincinnati, and we'll make the Midwest vampires versus Midwest werewolves,
and then we'll tie them into each other. Yes. And multiverse. We now have it. This is the Our Haunted Backyard cinematic universe.
Dude, I'm still salty about that. The dark universe that Universal tried to get off the ground that didn't work. I'm still salty that didn't work. It would have been great. But anyways, I could go on. That's a whole episode.
Yeah.
I could talk about my disappointment in the dark universe.
If we start doing Patreon stuff, we should just do like bonus episodes that are us ranting about. You will talk about your opinions about the amusement parks and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
And then I'll get real weird with it and just be like, okay, are you ready for like the stuff I found about Cincinnati?
Yeah. Oh God. I wish people could have seen my face when you were talking about that.
We'll do the documentary about Count Dante.
Yeah, the karate,
the Dimbach, yeah.
I still got to research the Dojo War. I still got to research that.
The Chicago Dojo War.
I don't know if we'll do it on like the official show, but like that just is something that I want to learn personally.
Yeah,
like I
think it falls under the purview of local legend.
You know, right? It does, and it doesn't.
Like we've been focusing on like ghosts and cryptids and stuff like that. I want to do an episode on Johnny Appleseed.
That's right.
He's an Ohio dude.
I forgot about
that.
Yeah.
So like talk a little bit, and he's got some weirdness too, because he's in the whatever church he belonged to was kind of on the weird side. If you have stories,
yes,
you want to tell us. If you know a local legend in Ohio that you think would be fun to talk about, let us know. Like we're on the hunt. I was so surprised by this Defiance thing because the big legends in Ohio tend to be the ghosts, like
a lot of the ghost stories,
Mansfield and stuff like that.
The two ones that I thought we only had, I only until just now, I thought we only had like two cryptids to our name, which was the Grass Man and the Frog Man.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know we had a werewolf problem.
Well, we've also got South Bay Bessie up in Lake Erie.
Oh yeah.
So that's a Great Lakes monster. It's Lake Erie's Ohio's lake.
Lake Erie is Ohio's lake.
Like Mission's already got a lake.
Michigan's got like two lakes.
It's got two.
It's got two lakes around it.
Yeah.
So like no,
give us Lake Erie.
Lake Erie.
Actually, we won Lake Erie from them.
Oh, we did, didn't we? Historically, we did win Lake Erie from them.
We won't go into it, but yeah, there was like a legit war fought between Michigan and Ohio, basically about like Toledo. We won.
Yay, for once.
But yes, send us your stories, send us your ideas to
ourhauntedbackyardcast@gmail.com. Follow us on the social medias, which we'll get better about posting some interesting stuff on there. We're on Twitter at OHBY pod, at OHBY podcast. Like, so the first letter of every word of Our Haunted Backyard. And same on Instagram. It's Our Haunted Backyard, OHBY podcast.
Yeah, we updated the handles to take advantage of that sweet SEO
and synergy, because I tried Our Haunted Backyard on Twitter. It's taken,
and we're gonna fight you.
It's taken, and also Our Haunted Backyard cast is too long for Twitter.
Yeah.
For an official it's too long.
Mm-hmm.
But like our full title is Our Haunted Backyard.
Yes.
But like the for the actual username, it was just too long.
Yeah.
Same with Instagram, it was just too long.
Yeah, hit us up on social media.
Yeah.
Send us emails. Let us leave us reviews on iTunes, Spotify, wherever. Recommend us.
Recommend this to people who love this stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
We're still pretty small, and any audience we get is just honestly just a blessing.
And if there are any investigations you think you should do, if you say you go to this forest, I saw a spooky deer.
Yeah.
We'll go find that deer. I'll hunt that deer with my teeth.
Yeah.
Just straight up. I'll strip down naked, take some bath salts, fight the deer. Ryan
and Shane from ex BuzzFeed Unsolved and now your new show, we coming for you. We coming for you.
I'm gonna have that Shane energy with the Ryan belief.
Yeah,
which is dangerous.
It's very dangerous.
You're gonna hear a report like 2 years from now about this naked guy covered in deer blood carrying a carcass into the Cincinnati headquarters. Just been like,
we coming for you, ghoul boys. We coming.
Until next time, stay spooky, stay nice. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.